Home equity, or rather negative home equity, is a hot topic in the media these days. Some of the headlines read, growing number of homeowners with negative equity. Some even use this as a sign we're heading for a housing crash. But is it really that bad? My name is Danholm and I'm a real estate broker here in Central Florida, and I have seen a lot of ups and downs over the years in the real estate market and in the economy as a whole. And I obviously don't know what the future holds. I'm not going to pretend I do. Nobody does. But I have been through, like I said, a few ups and downs in the economy and the real estate market. So I know there's more to this than the headlines read. So let's take a little bit of a look at one big equity headline and break things down a bit. Because putting things in context usually helps understand the big picture. So current headlines focus a lot on short-term equity numbers and forget the long-term numbers. One story focuses on the percentage of homes purchased in 2022 that are underwater. Underwater obviously meaning that the home is worth less than its owner owed on it. So let's, for example, say your home is worth 100,000 and you're on 110,000, then you're underwater. And this was a big issue in 2008, which is why people use it as an example of why we're heading in that direction. But the issue is not in anywhere nearly what it was in 2008. So where does this story come from? Well, as far as I can tell, the story comes from a report from Black Knight from October of last year. And the report reads in part, of all homes purchased with a mortgage in 2022, 8% are now at least marginally underwater and nearly 40% have less than 10% equity stakes in their home. Let's not forget, 2022 was a very unusual year for real estate. Home prices skyrocketed in the first half of the year like never before, and they peaked in the spring. Since then, the rate of appreciation has slowed down. So no surprise that some people who bought at the peak might be a little bit underwater. And especially if they paid over market value for their home. And it's also worth noting that the report says that 8% are marginally underwater. Marginally, meaning a little bit. So what those headlines forget to mention is that a home purchase is a long-term investment, not a short-term investment. Most people stay in their home for about 10 years now. And why is that important? Well, it's important because I, for one, cannot remember any 10-year period when home prices haven't gone up significantly, not just marginally. So if you're marginally underwater now, then you don't have a problem unless you have to sell right now. So we are also talking in a relatively small group of homeowners, 8% of the people who bought last year. Not 8% of all homeowners, but just 8% of the people who bought last year. And a lot of these people bought during the peak, and a lot of them paid over market value because they had to in order to get the house. If you're affected by this, it's obviously not good, especially if you need to sell in the near future. But like I said, if you're in this for the long term and are thinking of staying in your home for 5 to 10 years or maybe even longer, then maybe not such a big issue because you will regain that equity over time. Anyway, the bottom line is that it's important to see things in context and go beyond the headlines before you panic. So if you have any questions about real estate news or want to know what the equity in your home is right now, please DM me, comment below, call or text me. And also, if you're interested in keeping up with the real estate market, please follow me. I'll keep you updated on an almost daily basis. Thank you for watching.